Good morning, YouTube. I am going to be doing a radiator flush and coolant replacement for what is essentially a Ford Taurus, although in this case it is a Mercury Sable, and Mercury Sable is the top of the line Ford Taurus basically. I have two of these vehicles, just so happens. Came upon two of them, and this one's different. This is the LS Premium. It has a 24 valve dual overhead cam, completely different radiator system. As you can see, it's got two tubes going here. You follow this tube along, comes over here to the top of this upper radiator hose. Below that, right down here, kind of pointing to it sort of, but down there is the lower radiator hose, and that's where the thermostat is. So you're gonna have air bubbles in here and other kinds of issues. To get to this radiator, as you can see, it's just a different setup. Okay, so you can't just do a simple radiator flush for this car. You have to get in here to the radiator hose. All right, so I have a little trick I'm gonna show you, but this car already has the pan removed, or the tray, whatever it's called, and let's see if you can see that. That's a nylon bolt, I guess you'd call it, right there. And that nylon bolt has to back out, and I've already loosened it. I'm gonna do all this stuff. So it's pretty easy to remove. I can actually turn it, and you can see if I turn this thing, fluid's gonna come out. All right, so I don't want the fluid to come out right now, but the main thing I'm trying to show is that the center of that nut is roughly 4.5 inches behind this tray, and this tray has a whole bunch of nuts and bolts you gotta take, or screws you gotta take off. I can't remember how many there are. All right, so I'm working on this one, and here's the thing, is if you look in here, you got the radiator, the edge of the radiator. Okay, so this is the one with the Vulcan engine. Follow the edge of the radiator down, and that tray, you know how many screws are on there? A bunch. And you gotta be on your back taking all that stuff off. You have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, something like that. Or you can just kind of do this other trick that I do. You got the edge of the radiator right there, and if you look in here carefully, I'm gonna try to find it. It's right there. Okay, so just outside the edge of the radiator, I think you can see that nylon bolt there. I'm trying to focus on it. But anyway, I'm pointing my finger right at it, and it's right about there, so you can measure it. You take the edge of the radiator, go out about 1 inch, and then go back 4.5 inches, and it's right there. And if you're very careful, and you know how to use power tools without destroying stuff, that easy. You gotta kind of know what you're doing. Let's see. Flip this thing around. Unfortunately. I'm so silly. Alright, so you gotta be paying attention. I can't be paying attention to this phone. Okay, I gotta be watching what I'm doing here. All right. Okay, my torque setting. It's gotta go up. Other way. There's the bolt right there. Okay, so let's see if I can show you. Yeah, it's right there. That saves me a lot of time. So basically, I'm gonna take that bolt off using a socket, which is a, I think it's 13/16. Can't remember. Yeah, it says 13/16. All right, so you just reach up in there, and if you hit it the right way, okay, so I'm gonna go facing. If I was laying on my back, I'd be going clockwise. I think. Think about that. No, counterclockwise, sorry. All right, now you can see that is some nasty looking stuff, and also, you gotta be careful if it's hot. I took the car out for a drive, so it's a little bit hot. I don't really care. I got some gloves on and it's not that hot. Alright, let's see. Alright, so let's take a look at that hole again. And I'll put the center of the hole right there, about 4 1/4, 4.5 inches back, and I'm hitting that bolt, which you can kind of see is right at the edge of the radiator. It just saves me a little bit of time. You know, a towel, all that stuff. Okay. All right, now the Vulcan engine, very simple to do a flush. Okay, if you look at the inside of that, it's in pretty decent shape, but you can tell there's definitely been rust inside there. All right, so put it somewhere you won't forget to put it back on or lose it. You see up here, you only have one going in here and one going out there, and this is draining. And you can see inside there, it's pretty rusty. There's a lot of rust. You look at the outside and you see definitely rust. So you go down here, take a look, and you can see, you know, that's pretty rusty, but it's not chunks of stuff coming out. And it doesn't look like somebody used the stop leak. So again, you see it's a little bit different setup on the engine. You see the thermostat right here, piece of cake to replace these thermostats. There's a gasket right here. I have another video that takes you through this whole Vulcan engine thermostat. You got one bolt down there, one bolt here, one bolt there. I think it's 10 millimeter. You take off this hose, move it out of the way, and pop this thing off. Thermostat's inside there. It's got a little valve inside that's a little metal thing, and that has to go a certain direction. You have to make sure it's in place. You put the gasket on there, use a razor blade to clean it up. It's pretty simple. It'll take you about, I don't know, 30 minutes at the most. You don't need to use a Permatex or gasket maker or anything like that. Okay, so that's drained out. Now, a real danger on working on these cars is you have cold water, and you're gonna put cold water inside of a hot engine block. And that could cause some very serious problems. Okay, that could cause the engine block to crack. So you don't want to do that. For the most part, set this thing up. I'm gonna set it up over here. And you already saw the engine. You already saw what I'm essentially doing over there. Gotta get myself going here. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Sorry. Okay, we'll try it. Give that a shot. Alright, if you're watching this video, you're learning how to do this. If you already knew, you won't be watching this video. Alright, so I've already used this stuff. I've put it inside the engine, and I've run the car for 40 or 50 miles. That'll clean it up pretty good. A lot of people just put this stuff in, and then they want to flush the radiator core, and I think I've got a video on that, but pretty simple. Radiator core, you have these hoses going into the radiator core. One goes in, one goes out. Sometimes you have to do a reverse flush and push water through there to clean out the radiator core, but sometimes you can just use this stuff, run it for 50 or 100 miles. A lot of times you get a car, you think it's fine, nothing wrong with it as far as you can tell, and then you go to flush the radiator, and all of a sudden you got that smell of antifreeze.